Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. It's Andrea Gerbo from Hashtag Social School for EDU. You are on a webinar and you're among friends, and we are going to be talking about social media, Instagram for your school. I did just hit another record button, so if you are having issues, listen, or if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up on the chat bar. Just make sure that you can still hear me because I want to make sure that I'm coming through loud and clear. We've got, yeah, you got me. We've got people from all over the country and into Canada, which is awesome. I almost sound like I'm from Canada, so that's really good. Um, we are going to get started. Again, if you are just joining us, chat your name and your Instagram handle, if you have one for your school, in the chat bar, because before the end of today, I promise you that I am going to follow each and every one of your schools. And you're going to add one more Instagram follower. And I love being inspired by each and every one of you. So before we start, you're going to get a recording to this presentation. I'm going to encourage you right now to get out your phone. Make sure you've got the Instagram app already installed. If you don't have the Instagram app installed on your phone, quick grab it from your app store. And you can try to look around at things because you're going to get a recording of today's presentation and a link to these slides. Okay, so you're going to be able to listen to it. You're maybe going to be able to share it with other people, but we're going to be throwing a lot at you. You can take notes, and you're probably going to, I always am a note taker, right? And so you can definitely take notes, but just know that you're going to get the recording, you're going to get the slides, all that's going to be sent to you. If you're on Twitter, and I know this webinar is about Instagram, but if you're on Twitter, it's a great place to connect. And if you're joining me over your lunch hour, if you just want to tweet out a little picture of you at your desk, you can tag me. I'm at Andrea Gribble. You can also throw on a hashtag social school for EDU. That would be awesome. We love to be able to share and get this out. Now, I always like to start with you're in the right place if. Okay, you are in the right place if you are looking for ways to connect with your students and your young parents and your community in a unique way and on a growing channel that I'm going to share some stats. But if you're looking for, meaningful engagement, neat ways to tell your story, you are definitely in the right place. And the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And, Instagram was something when I started social media 4 years ago with the schools we serve. Instagram wasn't one of them that we did. We added it, I think, in early 2015. And I'm so glad we did. And I'll share some of those details. Now, you are in the wrong place if social media for your school makes you feel like this person looks. So overwhelmed, so confused, so like, oh my gosh, I do not even know what to do. This is probably the wrong webinar for you because this adding another channel, although I'm going to break it down and make it easy, it's not overwhelming and it can be very easy to do well. But if you're already feeling overwhelmed, I never want to say add something more to your plate, because if you're not doing Facebook well, then you need to focus on that. Don't worry about Instagram right now. Okay. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. Like, if you're ready to take something on, especially it's summer, and I think it's a great time to be able to try new things out. So in that case, it's awesome. And just kind of as a reminder, if you have questions while I'm talking, I will watch the chat bar. So we're going to cover a lot of information. And so I want you to be able to chat in while you're thinking about it. And I'll do my best to incorporate those questions, because the questions you have may be the questions other people have, and it will help. I am a mom of 6 kids. That's where my passion comes from. I love connecting schools to parents like me that are busy. I've got kids in a lot of different schools, actually in 2 different states, so it's kind of crazy. But I started this company 4 years ago. We've shared probably close to 200,000 posts for over 60 districts that we serve. And I'm just passionate about helping schools create awesome social media. schools are using social media, but not everybody's doing awesome. And I want to bring that to you. And so that's why we're here today. We do use YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I just want to kind of break down, and this is a really good slide for you to maybe benchmark against, okay? These are schools we serve. I started way back in 2014 with Little New Auburn, 327 kids. That's where I graduated from. I had 32 kids in my class. That was a big class. We serve Cameron. They have 1,000 students. We serve Chippewa Falls. They're 5,200. These all happen to be Wisconsin schools. We serve schools all over. But what I want you to see is in the first column, it's how many Facebook fans we have. In the second, Instagram. In the third, Twitter. Okay. You want to, you may want to look at what your channels are, but what I kind of want to point out is in our districts of both New Auburn and Cameron, look at how many Instagram followers we have compared to Twitter followers. Way more, 5 to 6 times as many. Now, Chippewa Falls, it's a bigger Twitter community, and we have more Twitter followers than we do Instagram. So your community may be different, okay? But we've really found after Facebook, my favorite channel is Instagram for schools. And this is one of the reasons, because we're really growing and we're able to get our story out there, which is awesome. The mission of Social School for EDU. And again, many of you know me. Sue, hopefully from Minnesota, you've known me, but our mission is all about celebrating students and connecting communities. We did get started back in 2014, and so we have learned a ton. And we're all about celebrating your school one story at a time. So when you get overwhelmed about social media, just think about, hey, what can I share today that's that one story? And when you have a system that involves all of your staff, it's pretty easy to do. Social School for EDU, we offer a lot of free support. We do our blog. Every other week we have a blog. We actually have over 200 blog articles on our website. A school way out on the East Coast just found me from an article that I wrote like 3 years ago. We do a monthly webinar like this one that's totally free, and we do some daily Facebook posts. We're just here to offer a lot of free support, but we do also have paid. We manage social media for schools. We do coaching. I know Julie's on the phone, and so we'll take your hand and we will help share all the tips and tricks and measurements and really help you take social media to the next level. And we do graphics. So if you don't have a graphics department, like most schools don't, we have an awesome graphic designer and we have some graphics too. Can we add some of our educator accounts too for you to follow? Absolutely, Viewer 75. I'm happy to follow some of your educational accounts as well. Now, one other way that we serve schools is through our social media summer camp, which is coming up in just a few weeks, June 26th and June 27th. I'm going to talk a little bit about that after our webinar today, but that is a great way to get connected and to get the latest and greatest and really set yourself up for a great summer of planning for social media for next year. We serve schools, we can serve schools all over North America. We happen to be located mainly in Minnesota, Wisconsin, serve schools in Colorado and Ohio, and we're looking to expand in Nebraska and Illinois and all over. So we work with everybody, and schools are just really busy running their schools. Our team's really focused on telling their story. And I have a team of 25 people on our team that help serve schools. Boy, do we deal with a lot. We're dealing with another crisis today. We dealt with one yesterday. There's a lot of things that happen, and we are an extension of those schools we serve, and we bring that expertise to the table. So let's talk about why we're here, which is Instagram for schools. So here's the agenda we're going to go through, okay? We are going to talk about why Instagram. We're going to talk about the basics, so how to get started. We're going to talk about what to post and get some good ideas. And then we're going to go through some advanced ideas, including Instagram stories. And we're going to do a Q&A. So we're going to share lots of Q&A. And thank you so much, Angela Mooney. We did some graphics for them in Illinois, and Yes, Allison does great work on our team. So why Instagram? Why should our school be on Instagram? Well, the latest research of 2018, this is Pew Research, says out of our adults, this is how the social media channels break down. 73% are on YouTube, 68% on Facebook, 35 Instagram, 27 Snapchat, 24 Twitter. I even though there's a big drop, obviously, after Facebook to Instagram, it has really grown. And we do use 4 channels, like I said, for our schools: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I hope you have a YouTube channel, but I want you to know that YouTube as a channel for social media for a school is a little bit different as far as wanting to stand out or get connected with your maybe students or your parents, because when do you use YouTube? I use YouTube every time I want to know how to do something, right? And it's a video, or like my kids, they're watching slime videos, right? And I don't know about those slime videos. What's the yellow ghost? The yellow ghost is Snapchat. Snapchat is the yellow ghost. So YouTube, yes, you want to be there, but it's, the main channels, like I said, Facebook and Instagram, big ones. Now, that's all of adults. Pew Research also broke it down and said from 18 to 24-year-olds, which in this study is the closest age group to your students. So you can think, your 13 to 17-year-olds are probably pretty closely mirroring these 18 to 24-year-olds. Look at 94% YouTube, 80% Facebook, 71% Instagram, 78% Snapchat, 45% Twitter. So I love Twitter. I love Twitter, trying to connect to other awesome school PR people like you. But as far as like connecting and telling your story with your school, I think Instagram is awesome. It's a great place to be. So that's really important. I'm surprised how high Facebook is for that group. Yes. Most of these kids, I think, though, they're on Facebook. They have an account, but they're not active daily users of Facebook. And there's some data on that. I'll link you to all of that. That might even be in one of these next slides. It is. So teens and social media use, 95% of teens have access to a smartphone, and 45% say they are online almost constantly. And now that it's summer, it will be constant, right? I mean, I think some of our schools do a good job of maybe making kids put their devices away at school so they can stay focused. But that's a lot. And how do we connect to these students? I think that Instagram is a great place to be. So this is among teens, YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat are the most popular. You could argue Snapchat, they use that a lot, right? And you can use that for your school. We haven't focused on that. I think sometimes Snapchat is a place where kids want to get away from parents, and maybe they don't want to be connected there. But anyways, this is just kind of the breakdown of teen use. And then when you look in the right-hand column, it's say they use it most often. Snapchat's most often, then YouTube, then Instagram, and then Facebook. Okay, so then it kind of drops down from there. But these are important because I think Instagram can be an awesome place to connect with your students, get them involved, get them excited. And just a spoiler alert, kids like to see themselves, right? They like to see pictures of themselves. Sharing pictures of those, I almost say, middle school to high school age kids, which, let's face it, now kids that are in like first and second grade have Instagram accounts. We want to show pictures of those kids. Who uses Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter? This is a lot of information. You can come back to this, but all I want to say is, like, let's look at the Instagram column. 35% say they use it. Men 30%, or men 30%, women 39%. Age groups: 18 to 29, 64%, 30 to 49, 40%. So of the people that like it, that's kind of the age breakdown. White, Black, Hispanic, high school, urban, it breaks it all down. But what I'm thinking and what I believe is that it's a great place to connect to your students and your young parents. Really a great place to do that. So let's get to the basics. How do you set up your page? You got to set it up on your mobile device. So you got to get that Instagram app on your phone. You have to create a username. It's going to take you through some prompts. Most of those things you can change once you get started. But when you create your username, I recommend to try and match it to your Twitter name, just because it's easier for people to remember and know. And so like Cameron here, it's at Cameron Comments. On Twitter, they're at Cameron Comments, right? So it's the same. You want to upload your profile photo. I'm going to say it should be your logo, and your logo should be the same that it's on Twitter, same that it's on Facebook, same that it's on YouTube. It's a branding thing, you guys. I look at a lot of schools and they've got a different version of their logo on all of these different channels. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right page. So please use a consistent logo and know that it's that circle. So you're going to want to make sure that it fits in there. You want to complete your profile information. So you can see that Cameron School, and then it says official Instagram account for the Cameron School District, hashtag Cameron Comments. We like including the hashtag. And then we also include another link, which is the website. Now, what I want you to know is that in this bio spot, I don't think I covered this anywhere else. And again, we're going to cover a lot. Within a post, you cannot include a link that's going to be a workable link. So, for example, if you have a sign up for summer school and you want to put a link for all your young parents, you want to put a link right in your Instagram post, you could put www.whatever the link is.com. It's not going to work. It's not going to be workable for them. So what people do is if there is a link that they need, and it's going to be up there for a certain amount of time, you say link in bio, you change out your bio and you put the link up there. Okay, that's what that means. So a little hack. Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully if you've got questions on that, let me know. And then you're going to want to switch to a business account. It doesn't cost any money. Any of you that have an Instagram account can be set up as a business account. So let me just show you here. First of all, it's very easy when you aren't in Instagram. Oh, can you please repeat that about the link in the bio? Okay, when you post a picture on Instagram and you put a little description in it, you know how like in YouTube or in Facebook or Twitter, that link would be clickable. In Instagram, it's not. It's going to show the link, which you could copy and paste and put in your address bar of your browser. But what most people do is they say, see link in bio. And then that link up in your bio is going to be clickable. So if you wanted to, use that, and only one link at a time. So it's not like you could add on multiple links. Maybe during registration next fall, you're going to say, hey, for easy ways to register, see the link in the bio. Frequent Instagram users are going to know what that means, and they're going to be able to go to your bio and they're going to be able to hit that link. Okay, so I hope that helps viewer 67. When you're on Instagram, Instagram allows you to be signed up, basically logged in to up to 5 accounts at a time. So for us, who we do management for over 60 schools, I'm not logged into all of those all at once, but I can be logged in to several. So I'm Andrea Gribble 07 at Instagram, and then these are 4 of the schools that we have. And so I can easily, when I go down and hit the little Trojan button down there, because that's kind of on your Instagram screen on your phone. When you hit that, you'll have the ability to go up in the middle there and click that down arrow, and you can toggle between different accounts. So that should be easy. Our school Wi-Fi blocks Instagram. Does anyone else have that issue? And do you have any ideas other than using data? You're going to have to use data, or you're going to have to ask for a special Wi-Fi that maybe only teachers have access to, that then you could get on to Instagram through that. So I know that other schools do have that issue, and so that can be a problem. So I talked about a business account. So if you are already set up with a business account, you are going to see the little graph up in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, you're going to see that little graph. If you don't see that little graph, you can hit the gear icon, and that'll take you into your settings. And then you're going to be able to scroll through there, and you're going to see switch to a business account, and you're going to be able to switch it to a business account. It's very easy. You can also connect it to your Facebook page when it goes through those prompts. Okay, so again, you're gonna have to play around with this, but just go into that little gear icon, switch to business, and then all of a sudden when you go back to your home page, which you're gonna, to get to this screen, you're hitting this lower, your logo right down here in the lower right hand corner. You're going to be able to see that gear icon or those graphs up here, and that's going to be very helpful for you. So another important thing, and this is a basic that I see a lot of schools getting wrong, and it was including with our own team was getting this wrong. So Instagram is based on squares. This is often referred to as the grid. This is the grid workout view when you go to your page. This is how it appears. The image size that you have is 1080 by 1080, which basically means it's a perfect square that it is going to show up. Now, in my example that you can see that this picture, when you extend it and you click on it, it says "Be Awesome Today." We had some awesome teachers that did some positive painting across the elementary school. But when it shows up in the little square here, it is not all visible until you actually click it. Now, some of you are actually, when you upload the picture into Instagram, which you can do when you hit this plus sign, that's where you're able to grab photos off of your phone. You do not have to be taking the picture right in the Instagram app. You can get access to your camera roll, okay? But when you load that, there is an ability to use your fingers on the screen to fit that picture in. And so that's how I did that. That's how I fit the "Be Awesome Today" with the full picture. But what you have to know is that you cannot see it in this view, and that's not ideal. And some of you, again, if you don't take your fingers to change that, so again, if it is more of a rectangular, more of like a Twitter almost landscape picture, you're not going to see it all. And if you're not taking the time to do that, they're not even going to be able to read the whole thing. And again, just this morning, I looked at several pages and saw that. I use a square photo option on my iPhone when I shoot for Instagram, so I can use it. Perfect. So then that's awesome, because then you know you're going to be set. What's the advantage to switching to a business account if we already have one set up as a regular account? You're going to see it's all the metrics. It costs nothing, but you get all the metrics behind it. It's kind of the same as, why would you want a personal page versus a business page for your school? Well, the business page for your school, you can schedule posts, you can see all the analytics, you can compare yourself to other schools. You want to have that those analytics available to you. And so that's why it's very, very important to do that. When you go to post a picture, there's going to be some choices. And so you're going to be able to select the picture you want. Just so you can see right here, there's 3 different options here. There's a boomerang, there's a layout, and then there's multiple photos where you're actually going to be able to select up to 10 photos to share. Okay. And then you also have the ability down here in the lower right hand corner of using a filter, and then using the edit buttons, which you can edit with contrast and bring out certain colors, and there's a lot of things. It's addicting, right? You could spend a lot of time on it, but there are those options, and that's what's cool about Instagram. It was kind of the first app that was ever out there that had those. Of course, all the other channels basically have that, but I've got a question. Use your phone's camera in the Instagram app. You can use your use your camera in here, because if you see below here, you can grab pictures from your library. You can shoot a new photo, which will basically just take you to the camera of your phone on your phone, or you can shoot video. As far as fitting photos on Instagram, they don't need to be square. Actually, if you have a landscape picture, you can tap the two arrows on the bottom and it will share it as a landscape shape. Yes, that's true. But again, remember, when it shows up in the grid that I just showed you, it is not going to completely show. And, you know, sometimes we want to make sure that we can see the whole thing here, because it doesn't look that great when you're looking at that grid. So yes, you can share it, just doesn't look the best. So thank you guys for all the questions and comments. So that's how you basically add a picture. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, you can cross post. So once you get your picture edited, you have the ability, once you get in here and you can write a caption, we recommend, you know, maybe a little bit shorter post. You know, people aren't reading a lot. It's a lot about the visuals, right? But you also have the ability to cross post on Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr, Flickr, all of these options. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that if you cross post from Instagram to Facebook, your reach on Facebook is going to be less. Even though Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same company, when you post from another platform, you don't get the reach that you would normally get if you posted directly into Facebook. So we don't do a lot of cross posting. Twitter, if you cross post to Twitter, it's not going to show your image. It's just going to have a link and it'll take you to the Instagram post, but it's not going to show the picture at all. So again, some of these platforms, they don't play nice to each other. They want you to be exclusively in their platform. And so just know that. Tagging people, you can add a location. There's a lot of different options there, but that's basically it. And then you hit the share button and it's going to show up on your page. So I hope that makes sense. Just a little Instagram basics. As far as video, you can share a video or a boomerang, and on your grid here on your home page, videos have the little video icon up in the upper right hand corner. You can share video. There's different links here that I'm going to talk about. If there's this little basically the multiple photo icon, that means that there's more than one photo within that post. So only the first photo shows, so you're going to want it to be the best photo. But then if you've got several pictures from a graduation or from an event, down here in the lower right, we've got a camping trip, then you want to pick the best picture first. And when you put on a description for that post, it's going to be one description for all the photos in that post. You could say swipe for more, so that people realize that you've got more photos. It just makes it more obvious, okay? Do you think it would be good to cross post when your account is new? Yeah, it might be a great idea to cross post when it's new, but you can also go right into Facebook and put a link in there. I don't know which one would be better, because Facebook doesn't really like links either, and so maybe it's probably a wash. Definitely you want to cross promote, especially when it's new, onto your other channels and say, guess what? We're on Instagram. Make sure to follow us. And we're going to give you ideas later in this webinar of how to grow your channel. Video on Instagram. Live video is a max of 1 hour. So you can go live, and that's a little bit into the Instagram stories, which we're going to talk about at the end. If you post a video to your Instagram profile, those now can be 1 minute, 60 seconds, okay? And then a video post to your Instagram story, those are 15-second max. So 15 seconds within your Instagram story. So different ways that you can use video. Hopefully that helps. And of course, I'm doing this recording on June 7th. Instagram's always changing and they're always giving new things. So you'll have to refer back if there's been changes. I'm recording this June 7th of 2018. Frequency. I think, Instagram, there is an algorithm going on, but I think you want to post at least a couple times a week. Daily is definitely okay. And definitely when we talk about stories, that's awesome. That's great ways to show up. The algorithm is at play, but you want to make sure you're sharing good photos and the right information, which is why we are going to go into what to post. How many videos can you have in one Instagram story? I think it's probably unlimited. I don't even know if there's ever a limit. Some Instagram stories have a series of 4 different like posts, and some have 20. So I don't think there is a maximum on that. But and again, I'm telling you what I know, not pretending to have all the right answers. If somebody actually knows that answer, feel free to jot your answer in there. Okay, so you're running Instagram for your school. What should I be posting? And I'm just going to be sharing a bunch of ideas from schools that I follow to give you some examples. Kids. So Randolph has a great Instagram page. I actually referenced them way back when I wrote about Instagram, I think 2 years ago. And posting pictures of those students are awesome. And so this was happened to be the salutatorian speech, and just sharing that picture is awesome. We use Wakelet at the end of each week to collect all educators' posts and send out a weekly roundup. Okay, oh, awesome. Wakelet must be a little bit like Storify, although Storify is going away. Great way to share some of that. Yeah, thank you. So pictures of kids, awesome. I think you want to watch how much text you use, but there is a way to brand your pages. And I absolutely love this example from Randolph where they were doing some senior spotlights. They actually, within the Instagram app, when you post the way that I just showed you, you can't add text to the picture. When you can use a third-party app, and we think that Randolph used WordSwag because we got all those different apps. They used WordSwag and used a similar little sticker or a text overlay that made these look consistent, but just a little bit different depending on the picture. And then I'm sure these posts linked to either, maybe they said link in bio, or maybe they just included the full description of, Sarah Lane and included that right in that picture. But it gets that consistency. So what I want to tell you is that on Instagram, it is a branding thing. So picking a font, some colors, all of that is important. And so those are great things, great things to keep in mind. Why is the video quality so poor when uploading to Instagram, even if it's HD? I'm not sure. That could be a play on your Wi-Fi that you have at the time. I haven't seen significant issues with this, but I'm glad, viewer 75, you love the idea of the senior spotlight, because we love it too. So that was the one that Heidi was like, I'm totally stealing that. Selfies, another one from Randolph. I love this. This was Grandparents' Day, and the director took this awesome selfie and shared it out there. It had 126 likes. That's awesome. So those ways of, even if it's not kids, but sharing and just fun and up close and personal. And I guess what I want to say is staff. You have staff that is energetic and fun, and we want to showcase them too, because your school is a great place to go to school. Now, what I want to tell you is Instagram is not as much of a commenting platform. You're not going to get a ton of comments. I wish you did, because it helps the algorithm, but mostly you're looking for likes or the hearts, okay? So that at 126 likes, that's pretty awesome. Other ideas of what to post. Obviously, these are professional pictures, and this is from Klein ISD. So somebody from Justin's team at one of their high schools took all of these pictures, and instead of doing that collated, they just took a whole bunch of these awesome pictures and posted them on Instagram. They're great pictures. They just speak to you, right? Without even seeing any kind of a description on these. which you wouldn't need. You might put your hashtag or something. This is really great. And so if you've got a big event like this, or like think about the first day of school, just capturing all those little moments and getting a bunch of those out there, really great posts. And again, they're your kids, right? I also love this one from Klein ISD. It was, and all they did was, it was the forest CO. So, that must have been the graduation. That was their hashtag. So they made sure to put that on there. Hashtags, by the way, are super important in Instagram. Okay. Super important. So I hope that your school has a customized school district hashtag. You should use that in every single post. Okay. You can add other hashtags too to get visibility, but you definitely want to use your school's hashtag. You know, great things like this. This was actually one of our schools we serve in Cumberland, Wisconsin. Many of you may have seen this because it showed up on ABC and CBS and USA Today and Fox News and all over. Our post on Facebook actually went over the 1 million mark for reach, most ever. But it was a really cute senior prank with a really good message. So that ended up getting 188 likes. And we did those extra hashtags. So hashtag CSD Go Beavers is their hashtag for their school. Senior prank, epic prank, class of 2018. It may increase the visibility of your post. When we posted this on Facebook, we had more of a description. Here we just said best senior prank ever. Okay. So it was simple, but effective. So another great thing to share on Instagram is your events, your groups, your obviously sports teams, musicals, band, anything that has to do with your schools. So again, this one grabbed a lot of likes, and so that's another great thing to share. This is a quick hack, and if you're feeling overwhelmed, then this is a good idea. On the right is a Facebook post that we shared on a Friday. Super cute picture of kids. F is for Friday, friends and flamingos. These hashtag comrades have it all today. We waited until that posted on our Facebook page, and our account manager, Allison, saved that picture to her camera roll from Facebook. You just hit those 3 buttons up there in the corner, and you can save that to your camera roll. And then she used it on Instagram as an Instagram post. And she put a filter on it, and she changed the description slightly because by then I don't think it was Friday anymore. It was almost June. So flamingos, right? And then she put that out there and it got a bunch of engagement. So what I like to remind you is Instagram, we definitely are trying to aim towards maybe our students and our young parents, but duplicating content is still okay. Most people have a favorite social media channel. For me, I'm a mom, I'm 40, right? So Facebook is my #1 channel. But for other people, Instagram is their go-to place, or, for other people, Twitter is their go-to place. So don't feel like you always have to have completely exclusive content. One suggestion is if you have a big following on Facebook, you could put a couple pictures there and you could say, hey, for more bonus pictures, check out our Instagram page, and then give them a link to your Instagram page so they can get more photos. What a great way to lure them over, make sure they're hitting the follow button so they're not missing out on Instagram. But I hope that makes sense. I didn't include it in here. Instagram does have some third-party apps that you can schedule through now. There's some API stuff that has to go on behind the scenes, and I think it's a little bit easier to schedule Instagram posts now. We always are posting live right in Instagram, but there are those available. And if I find that article, I'll just copy that in the resources from today. So another, just a suggestion, this was a retirement post. It's just how to write your description when they're scrolling through their newsfeed, they can hit that love button, the like button, but it's a heart, or they can just double tap the picture and it's gonna give them a heart. So sometimes you can get creative with the way that you're writing out your post, like double tap to show your love for this year's retirees, 343 years of combined service. So awesome, easy way, just a different way to put it out there. How do I give them a link to my Instagram? Well, on Instagram, you can actually, I mean, if I do most of my page or most of my posts on like Facebook from my computer. So when you can look at Instagram on your computer. So probably the easiest way is to just copy that URL, hit Control C for control copy, and then you can paste it on your Instagram post. So I hope that helps. Is it more common for the language used on Instagram to be more informal? Probably. You know, that you don't have to be quite as formal as maybe like a Facebook post. Of course, you still want to use proper English, proper spelling, and all of that. But yeah, it's probably a little less formal. You're going to find your voice for your school district and be able to do that. Of course, we're always like celebrating our schools. Um, and Tony, yes, more casual and fun. Yes, great advice from viewer number 34. Love this. Um, okay, this is just my suggestion because this is from my page. I always like throwing myself under the bus when it comes to social media. Um, the two in the middle is a great feature that we have for students who shine, and the wording, yes, when you click on it, all the words show up, but in the grid version, they don't. And so to me, that's just too much text. The welcome back from, that was when they were coming back from winter break. That's okay. But when you have that much text, it's just a little much. I think what I would do now is I would change this over to just developing that little like round circle icon that says students who shine. And I'd do that on a square of this awesome picture of Sawyer. And I would share that. And then in the description, I could include that quote. Okay. So hopefully that. All right. We are already like at 42 minutes into this, and now we got to get to the advanced stuff, which might come in with more questions. We will see. One thing about Instagram, again, wanting to have a nice grid look for your Instagram page is that, using Instagram for announcements is maybe not the best use, but sometimes you do want to get it out there. You actually have the ability to archive posts. And so if you look at this picture, I'm just in the way right here. So if you look at this picture, up here in the upper right-hand corner, it's got that dot, 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 okay? When you click on that, these choices come up, okay? These choices come up, and you can archive that post. And that way, it's not going to show up on your grid anymore. It's also not going to show in the number of posts. I think somewhere in your settings, you can find all those posts that have been archived, but it's just nice to be able to know that you can archive it. And look at that. You can even turn off commenting, or you can edit, or you can share, you can delete if you would have to. Just one suggestion for some of these announcements is you may want to end up using Instagram stories because of where it shows up on the Instagram app, which again, I'm going to get into, but how to share an Instagram post from one of your school's accounts to the district account. I'm actually going to show you that using a third-party app called Repost. A little bit into the data, the analytics that I said that you could have when you have a business account set up. So most pages aren't going to have this unless you have this metrics, this little graph up here. Throughout your news feed or on your page, with every post, you can see this had 56 likes, but you're actually able to say, hey, I want to view the insights for this post, and you're going to be able to see insights. You also, on Instagram stories, you can actually see how many people have seen a specific post. This is obviously a story with many. All of these little breaks are different pieces of the story. So this one had several, and this happens to be right here. And this one was seen by 82 people. Also, when you hit that graph button up in that upper right hand corner, you're going to be able to see, hey, how many interactions, the discovery, the reach, the impressions. You'll also be able to see some of your most popular posts. And this is really important because what type of content is the most engaging? Well, when you look at this, you can see that in the last, this last week, here were my most popular posts. And this is how many people actually got to see them. And then when you go to see all, you're actually going to be able to break it down even further. And you can see here this post where we did a tribute to a town next door that was going through some hardship, our hashtag Unite for Chautauqua campaign. That one had 880. This was 642, 484, 460. So you can just start to see a pattern of what's sharing and doing well. The next thing is, if you click up here, this is faded now, right? But if in this all the 1 year, the impressions, those are all clickable. When you click one of those, you can go down a rabbit hole and you can look at your Instagram posts in a lot of different ways. You could look at just videos. You could look at, and then you could look at it by impressions or profile visits or reach. You could break it down into the last 3 months or 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. I'm not going to go full into that because I think that's can be overwhelming. The big thing is you want to be posting on Instagram, you want to be growing your fan base, all of that. So that's critical. When to post. And again, this might be a little bit more advanced. I wouldn't worry about this if you're just getting started. But there are times when people are on Instagram or not on Instagram, and your fan base is on Instagram or not on Instagram at certain times. So this is actually a third-party app. This is the free version. There's a small price to pay if you want to unlock additional features, but it actually is telling you the best times to post today are at 1:30, at 5:45, or at 11:30. Hopefully most of you aren't still up at 11:30 p.m. It says right now don't post, but these are the times, and hey, it's in an hour and 34 minutes whenever I took this screenshot. So that can be really helpful. It can also be a little bit overwhelming. Instagram content is not shareable in the same way as like a Facebook post is. But again, you can hit repost, which I will show you in the next slide. With Instagram on your school's account, we don't follow a lot of other pages. You can follow your other educators, teachers that you know are sharing stuff out on Instagram. I don't like to follow individual people back that have followed our school's page just because there are a lot of minors. You're supposed to be 13 to be on Instagram. We know that there's a lot of students that are not 13 that are on there. So I don't recommend following back everybody that's followed your page, but you can follow your school hashtag. So I think that's very important because then any kind of a post that uses your hashtag will show up in your news feed, and it'll be easier to find content. So hashtag Reedsburg Pride, that's one of the schools we serve in Wisconsin, and we can follow that hashtag. Now, there was just a question, what about following alumni? And then how do you follow a hashtag? Well, you follow a hashtag in the same way that you're going to search in the search bar. At the bottom of your screen, you can go to the search button and you can type in the hashtag. When it brings it up, it's going to have this square up there that says follow. And you're just going to hit that, and you can see I'm already following the Reedsburg one. And so that's why it already says I'm following it. But that's all you do. And then you follow the hashtag. They just changed that maybe 6 months ago, not even 4 months ago. So that's a pretty new ability to be able to follow. How do you fit Instagram into your posting schedule? Do you post once per day or week? How much is too much? We usually try to post at least a couple times a week. I think there's other schools that have posted daily. On special events, posting several times, like those examples on graduation, that's fine. So sometimes we tend to say, okay, every Monday and Thursday, I'm going to make sure that I'm posting something on Instagram just to give yourself like a reminder, because you don't want to go several weeks without posting anything. So I'm all about building systems and just making it easy. So maybe it's a little reminder on your computer desktop that says, hey, have you posted on Instagram? And you can do that. How quickly do people usually see your posts? For example, Facebook uses its algorithm, and it might stay in, be popular for the next few days. There is an Instagram algorithm at work as well. It's been said that up to 70% of your fans do not see your posts. That's why, to the previous one, you can't really post too much because all of your fans aren't going to see all of your posts anyways. But I don't have an exact example. I think the best way, again, is Instagram stories, which we're just getting to, and we're climbing up against time, so I knew that would happen. Repost is an app. So it's a free app. You can actually repost other things. So when Reedsburg, Sarah Breckley, who was actually one of the educators of the year in the state of Wisconsin last year, she loves sharing pictures. This is an awesome picture. We had 50 likes on it, and it actually helped add additional followers because followers of her page then would see it on Reedsburg's page. But you can actually repost it through that app onto your page, and it gives her credit for it. So it's not just like stealing it and sharing it. So hoping that helps. Yeah, and yes, following back your followers allows you to engage with them, liking their posts, comments, etc., and this improves your metrics. Yes, just being careful of, again, following students sometimes can get challenging because you're maybe sharing out their handles. Okay, Instagram stories. And some of you maybe just tuned in for Instagram stories. So here we are. Instagram stories are stories being told. They break it down kind of frame by frame or video by video of telling a story. And it lives for 24 hours. Some of the advantages are it creates exclusive content for your audience because it's only live for 24 hours. So it's like, check it out. You get a lot of real-time engagement. It's really a more intimate interaction. It's very easy to consume because the stories that go on at the top of your frame of your feed, once you click on them, they go to the next story and the next story and to the next person that shared a story that you're following automatically. So it's very easy. I have heard that many Instagram users are actually only looking at stories. They're not scrolling through anymore. And one of the great things now is that you can save stories to your highlights so you don't lose them forever. Yeah, stories is Snapchat for Instagram. Although you can see, that they, as far as stories for daily active users, Instagram is way above Snapchat, way above it. 300 million active users. And I think this was just put out in the middle of May of last month. So it's 3 weeks old, this information. This is why stories are important. And stories are on Facebook now. This webinar isn't about Facebook, but it does work for Facebook now too. And so it's an important thing that I think our schools need to pay attention to. The nice thing about Instagram stories is it shows up. This is my feed from a while ago. It shows up right at the top. And I realized Sarah Blakely, she's the founder of Spanx, so of course she's got a bra on the outside of her shirt. But those show up right at the top. So you talk about popping out and getting attention. When you do an Instagram story, it shows up there, and it's very easy to add a story. You just click on this and you can add. Also, when you're on your home button, so wait until that disappears, the home button down to the lower left hand of your screen. If you are on that home button and you just swipe to the right, all of a sudden the choices come up. How do you save stories to your highlights? I'm going to show you. So we will definitely get to that. So Instagram stories, once you do that swiping, this is what your screen is going to show up. It's going to have a lot of different options at the bottom. I don't have time to go through all of these. We could do just a webinar on Instagram stories, and I bet we will next fall. But you can choose type, which is just typing words out. You don't have a picture. You can do live, which is Instagram Live. It's live video. You can do normal, just a normal picture. You can do a boomerang, which is a looping video. You can focus in on something. You can do super zoom, rewind, hands-free, stop motion. Again, not going to explain all of those, but they're available once you go to live, once you go to stories. And again, you get to stories by going to the home button, just swiping left or hitting up top that you want to add to your story. You can pick those different things and it just slides, right? Everything's the swiping motion. Hope that helps. Now, this is where you can see where you can save it to highlight. So if you're on Instagram Live or you're on your story, down on the bottom, you have the ability when you watch it back, you can put it to share a story to Facebook stories. And if you're connected to your Facebook page for your school, it'll go on your Facebook story. And then you can add it to your highlight. You see that there? That's how you add it to a highlight. Here's an example of what highlights are. So Lewis Central does a great job, and they had some, like a STEAM day. They had some kind of awards day. Now notice there's a limit to how they show up, but they did some customized graphics to kind of show, and maybe they're you have the ability to actually pick what picture you want to kind of be your highlight cover image. But if you click on that, you'll actually be able to see what was shared in that Instagram story now as a highlight, and it'll save it up there. It does not continue to show on the top of your screen, but it does continue to show right there, okay? So very important, because I don't like sharing stuff and then losing it forever. Sometimes that can be good, especially if somebody like pulls up on stage and you're doing a Facebook Live or Instagram Live, you don't want to post that. But in other ways, you want to be able to, keep an archive of that. So highlights is a great place to do that. We are cruising through here. This is just an example of an Instagram story that we did at, and this is a highlight. I don't know if you can hear this, but there is sound to it, and it's just a series of either photos or videos or whatever. This is actually playing on my phone. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but you'll have access to that later. The other option is, you can add all these little GIFs and you can get so creative. You can add little polls. And so when you go to select an option for an Instagram story, you've got these options up here. And what I want to just quickly show you is that when you click on this smiley icon, you can add a location. So you can pick your city, you can mention somebody, you can use a hashtag, you can do a GIF, you can add the date or the time or the degrees, you can add polls or like just kind of how are you feeling, a rating scale, and then you can add all these different stickers. I heard it best, that sometimes less is best. So making these too overwhelming is a lot. But what I do want to say is that don't get overwhelmed when you think about this. I think the important thing about Instagram stories is you have an army of experts in stories, and they are called your students, or they're called your young teachers. And having them take over or be a contributor. So basically they need the password so that they can log in to the Instagram account on their own phone. They can then do it. We had an awesome Instagram story from Reedsburg on graduation, and it was more of the behind the scenes stuff, but they used a little, scale here where people could vote, and it just makes it interactive, right? Just some other ideas for Instagram stories. First day of school, homecoming, graduation, last day of school, a fundraiser, musical, field trip, a class trip, like a trip to Europe, or if you get to travel somewhere for band or class to Washington, D.C., to be able to capture that in an Instagram story, super powerful. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit about stories. The other thing is just growing your Instagram following. So we just recently within our own team had some contests. So we gave away some, on one of our districts, we gave away a t-shirt and a Subway gift card for everybody that joined. And then we ended up announcing those winners on Instagram. I did an Instagram contest. I got our principal to agree that, hey, we get to 500 followers, will you dress up in a T-Rex outfit for awards day, for the last day of school? We promoted on Facebook, we promoted on Twitter. So these are both, I created these little graphic design images. I made it in Canva. I'm not a graphic designer. That's why I have Allison on our team that helps do better graphics than that. But then this was our post on Tuesday, the last day of school, where we did make it to 500 followers. How fun is that? So really, really powerful to be able to grow. The other thing is, and I know we're coming up on our 1 hour time slot, we'll get all the rest of your questions. So make sure you're jotting those in. Signs, a welcome table at your back to school, at any kind of event. Make sure that you are promoting that you are on social media, especially like, hey, we're going to be sharing pictures on Instagram tonight. So make sure you're following us at New Auburn School. We're so happy you joined us for the concert. We're actually streaming it live on Instagram tonight. And so make sure to, and then these simple signs are right on the main entrance of our door. Every main door that you come into, all the schools that we serve get these as a gift. They're very affordable, under $20, and they're those stickers. A great way to tell everybody who enters your building, hey, we're on social media, make sure to follow us. So how do you feel right now? I feel out of breath and like I need a drink of water. But I hope you feel a little bit empowered and like, oh my gosh, I have like knowledge to go. And yes, I will share where you got those stickers from. I'll share the blog. I hope you feel a little bit empowered and a little bit relaxed and a little bit like, hey, I'm surrounded by people, social media for schools, that are all about me. And so I just want to quickly talk about my social media summer camp. It's happening in like 2.5 weeks, June 26th and 27th. I believe that what you focus on gets done, and to have 2 days to really focus on learning and growing, getting inspired by 6 different speakers in 2 days with resources and all of that, like your students deserve that. They deserve you to take that time and to really think about it and strategize and get some clarity on going forward. So, this was just feedback from one of my last campers of, hey, energy, inspiration. We do gifts throughout the presentation. It's an online virtual way, and it does make you a stronger champion for your district. So we've got 6 incredible speakers lined up. Greg Turchetta is going to be talking about creating socially savvy teachers. You cannot do social media alone. You have to employ and really empower your staff. Greg had to do it with 50 different school buildings, and he did it in less than 90 days. So that he's got a lot of energy, a lot of great tips. Video is so important with social media and telling your story. Jake is going to be breaking down 10 tips for social media storytelling. Heidi launched Reedsburg from 0 just over 2 years ago to they just topped 3,000 followers on Facebook. They've got hundreds and hundreds of followers on Instagram. She's going to be breaking down what their journey looked like and sharing the inside scoop on how they made it work. Brian Woodland is an incredible speaker, and he is from Canada. He's going to be talking about inclusion with social media, including all of your students, all of your staff, and making sure they're all celebrated. Justin is going to be joining us from Texas, and he's talking about working smart and not hard. It's challenging. It can be a time suck, right? If we don't have the right tools. He's going to be talking about that. And then I'm going to be diving in to insights. I have the inside view actually on over 70 school social media accounts right now. So I'm going to be breaking down what we've learned and what you can learn from your own channels and how do you apply that as you move forward. Because the more we know about our own district and our own community, the better job we can do at telling our story. So very, again, just feedback from another camper. Easy, very inexpensive, great way to learn, interactive, it's fast paced. Just like today, you get the recordings, You get all this stuff, 6 topics from 6 speakers, live Q&A, printable workbook. I think it's about a 20-page workbook, lifetime access to recordings and slides. We don't take that away at a certain time. You get lifetime access, and you get authority to share the recordings with your school or district. So think about it. Brian's talking about inclusion. And if you want to share his presentation with maybe your superintendent or your principals or other, staff members, you have the ability to do that. It's for teachers, superintendents, public relations people, media specialists, secretaries, principals, IT personnel, coaches, and more. It's only $197. You can register. I'll have a link, but you can go to camp.socialschoolforedu.com and register. You can pay with your credit card or PayPal, or you can email me and I will issue your school an invoice and you can pay with a check. So, very easy to get involved, but we're running out of time because it's just happening in a few weeks. And there's over 100 people already enrolled, and we hope that your school is one of them because your school deserves it. This is awesome, and I'm so glad that you are already signed up for Social Media Camp and you're a new communication specialist. Yeah, this is exactly who this is for, who we're here to serve. Again, put in your questions, please. Now is the time for questions. Are you sending this webinar to use as a video? Absolutely. Every time you register for one of our webinars, we not only send you the slides, we'll send you the recording, and we send you some supporting links to apps and all that stuff. I want to make your job easy because you guys have a hard job already of all the things you have to deal with. So my goal is to give those tools all to you and make it very easy to use them. Please share the info on the door decal stickers. Those are awesome. Yes, we will. We talked about Instagram stories and saving those for your followers. So that's awesome. What other questions might you have before we jump off? And if you have to jump off now, that's fine. Instagram content not shareable, right? Yeah, it's not as shareable like as a Facebook post would be, but it's there. I know that some of you had to go early. Let's see. Hopefully this was super helpful. So if this was what you needed, or if you need more, you certainly let me know. Like I said, we're getting our lineup for next year's free webinars, our list started, and probably just one on Instagram stories will be important to have, because that obviously could have been its own webinar. I know we shared a lot of information. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm just trying to scroll back to see if I missed any of your questions. I think I got most of them as we went. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I will send out everything. If it's not this afternoon, it will be by tomorrow. Tomorrow's already Friday. I cannot believe it. Please, if you are interested, this is something that is happening live on June 26th and 27th. I know many of you might be on vacation, but you can tune into all the recordings and still get all the access. And so I have many people that know they can't join live, but they will be able to enjoy all of the recordings broken down by topic. And so that's really important. So we just really want to encourage you to be there. It's our one kind of paid online event, and it helps support all of this free content that we put out throughout the year. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope to see you at camp. Bye-bye.
Call recording is off.